So, if you guys don't know, NXT has recently, last week, had their first episode on a Tuesday night. And I don't know if we're going to do a watch along over in the Rant Squad and Cinnamon's channel. I guess so, because now everything is wrestling. It's still nobody watches, but other than that, I'm going to go over NXT. In my opinion, I think it fails as a farm system. It fails as an extensive brand for WWE. And it just fails in general. Because other than the Shield, in a bit of a nexus, NXT has failed to grow over youthful talent or widespread indie talent. They don't give them extensional gimmicks. They don't try to focus on what makes them interesting, or at least over a definable look. Like, it's shallow how they usually go over stars now from back then, but at least they were thinking, what would be the image that would be more, consumable for the fan, so they can be like, I know who this guy is. Because probably their personality sucks. Or there's nothing into their wrestling that makes them that interesting. Or they're a bit green. Or they just need a bit of an image change. Like, that's what you're supposed to go through when you're an up and coming guy and you're trying to make over your way to Raw and SmackDown to be on television. That's how I think that's supposed to work. I didn't mind, like many other people, when the shit around the game show part of NXT. And yes, it did, and it was corny, childish, and had a bit of a downside. But I'd rather have that, because at least it's going over the strengths over what makes the wrestlers interesting, like personalities, agility, athleticism, on the fly promo work, how to get the crowd involved. All of that revolves around being a pro wrestler. I didn't mind it. I wouldn't rewatch it, but I can get the standpoint of what Vince was going through, other than the failure of ECW over as an extensive third brand that it couldn't even keep its identity. And now we came over from NXT, an alternative for a youth branch just to get young guys to get used to the main roster is now just expensive Ring of Honor. And I don't say that because they have guys there from Ring of Honor and TNA and Lucha Underground. But I'm saying that because they just focus on the wrestling standpoint and nothing else. Don't get me wrong, they do have certain talents that I find could make a major impact in the company. But some of these guys are overly saturated over the identity of the indies and thinking that works. Like, if you're only a great wrestler, you deserve to get over. That's how they did over with Daniel Bryan. And nobody can shape over that. Johnny Gargano's literally the Daniel Bryan of the NXT, and he's not over because he can only get over that standpoint of the circle of NXT fans, not over an outside audience. You can say he's a great wrestler all you want. Nobody in the goddamn world heard of Johnny Gargano. Tommaso Ciampa just is a running knee midget with no charisma or a defendable, intimidating structure. At least the short guy has muscle. Karrion Kross has a menacing, adult-looking look. He looks imposing. The guy has a beautiful woman with him, and he can talk like he's literally about to kill you. That's stuff that a fan wants to see. That should be a guy that you want on an action figure. That's how I feel like you should do for wrestlers, especially over the standard of WWE. It should be as shallow and as higher, just so you can build up these guys to be above NXT standards. And most of the guys that we have over on the main roster weren't even NXT champion or NXT tag team champion, over the standpoint that they're at least in some parts of the company. Like, I see Eric Bugenhagen in the freaking Old Spice commercials trading the 24/7 title with R-Truth. At least he got something going for him. The guy's built. Like, freaking built. And we have Elias that scrims over promo time with his little concerts, gets decent crowd reaction, and has a look. I never heard him being an NXT anything champion. They're taking over these accomplishments over as NXT and overrating them over the standpoint that actually makes them a successful wrestler. And let's get one thing honest. Who really, out of most people on NXT, we're not counting the Shield or AJ Lee or even game show parts. Like, let's go from 2013 to present. Like now, how they're taking NXT as seriously as now. Who right now is a constant main event or well known guy on WWE? And most of the other guys that even are successful came from OVW, FCW, any other or in many other training branches, like out of WWE from NXT. Like Bray Wyatt isn't doing that much. Bo Dallas, like majority, like Kalisto, Sin Cara, Alex Riley, freaking Lars Sullivan, and it's not because they've been given a chance, because they're not that talented, and that sucks to say, but they're better off finding somewhere else other than a larger scale where they're not trying to expand themselves as an interesting character. Finn Balor has failed. That's why he's now going to be an amazing 5-time NXT champion. Kevin Owens is always going to be upper mid-card purgatory. Sami Zayn, the same thing. None of these guys are over the extension of having any character definable looks that looks like, I know who that guy is. Unless you're a wrestling fan, you don't know who Kevin Owens is. You don't know the definable look from a Bret Hart silhouette or a Stone or the Rock silhouette or an Ultimate Warrior silhouette to a Kevin Owens silhouette. That you just need a man and you need to put a circle on his gut. That's literally it. And I think this has to go over to the standpoint of Triple H. And you can be like, oh, but there is big guys on NXT. Gargano, like, freaking Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole main evented TakeOver last 2 weeks ago over Karrion Kross and Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. I can understand at least the motive of that because it's a personal feud, and there is most times that a grudge match or a dream match can overtake the World Championship match, and I think you can do that in certain standpoints. I can get that. But these are like two small guys that have over 40-minute match with minimal storytelling in ring over the standpoint that these guys are just doing moves over a heavyweight or a cruiserweight. Literally, David and Goliath set of rules over a guy that looks like he can kill this small Euro guy for a championship. And now the NXT title is over the level of the Universal title. Even for the Universal title curse, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, over Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and frickin' Adam Cole by a landslide. That makes no sense that the NXT title is more prestigious in the Europe than the Universal. There is still like future Hall of Famer or top or notable names that people know of on the Universal title. I think half of the people even forgot that Neville, Bo Dallas, Biggie even held the NXT Championship. Or Samoa Joe or Nakamura, Bobby Roode. Like, come on, stop pretending like NXT is that important. They are still grossing over the same fan base. They're not building over the attendance. NXT is gonna primarily stay how it is because it's just small rooted. It's going for the vocal minority. It's going for the indie fans over to give them a lighting hope for essential growth, but NXT never grows. That's the sad part. And it's been a weak farm system for minimal stars, and even when they push over the stars, they kill the ratings. Ambrose, Rollins, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan. You don't see a rating spike whenever Daniel Bryan's world champion. Don't get me wrong, he's an incredible, talented pro wrestler. I will never take anything away over with Daniel Bryan, and there's been segments where he has been entertaining, but he's not a top draw. You can appoint it over, but Shawn Michaels is undersized. Shawn Michaels compensated with actual great in ring work, with a charisma, an alright character that women wanted to be like. Women wanted to be around Shawn Michaels. And good promos. The guy is literally Mr. WrestleMania. Nobody Gargano is Mr. Takeover. If you have that in your mindset, that is sad. None of these people are over the ambition of main eventing WrestleMania. I don't hear that over at wrestlers. They're just, I wrestled around the world. I I wrestled around the world. I scratch and claw to get to the top. Nobody ever said that they wanted to be WWE champion. No one ever said that they want to be uh, an amazing superstar uh, or a movie star that is known all across the world. I don't hear ambition like that. I just hear glad hands. That it's sad. And I'm trying to get over this today. That I hope WWE goes over to the route of extensifying their branch system to a more nationwide standpoint, because I feel like NXT is a failing farm system. Because people still go over the 2002 OVW group of Batista, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and freaking Randy Orton than whatever in the hell NXT has. Because guess what? Two of those men are future Hall of Famers and movie stars. One is already a former UFC world champion, NCAA world champion, already like a successful wrestler that still has worked over 2 decades in the WWE. And Orton is a future Hall of Famer. What's so big about currently most of these NXT guys you keep pushing over? Like literally, try to pretend that you think NXT is an eventful result for nice talent. I wouldn't blame the main roster because they have to try what they have with guys that don't even look like a star. Don't be blaming over the creative why they can't do anything with a fat, bearded Canadian with a spiked cut. That guy's gonna get squashed by Goldberg. Get over yourself. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I obviously seen great matches off some of these guys that came over NXT, but which part of these guys look like they're gonna carry the company? Don't be blaming that over with creative. That's silly. They already have enough making a crap up show like Raw. And then they have to get a guy with a shortcut, kick pads, white wrist tape, thigh slap, forearm, tope suicida from the top. Oh my god, and he has a kicking move and a running choke slam while he could just break up the pin. He does a standing shooting star press. Like nobody wants that. No kid wants that. No wrestling fan wants that. And that just sounds harsh, but that's just how it is. In my opinion, NXT has failed as a useful system, as a farming system, and as an extensive third brand because it has no way of growing. And that's a comment from me. Like, comment, subscribe. How you feel about NXT and how it's been used over for the WWE over a decade now, over a freaking decade, and I feel like it's just been a failure. That's coming from me. Like, comment, subscribe. That's it.